that you were listening to just now, Lisiba?
No, it's a pity we couldn't just follow all that was being said. But the opening line sounded like people thought there would be too much blood flowing. And I thought, what could be the reason for that? And if indeed they do pause sometimes and interrogate. Prior to him, the Premier of Free State was here, Mr. Isma Khashuli, who conceded that he was nearly poisoned, which tell us, especially analysts and those who are objective outsiders looking at what is happening within the party, that all is not well in the village.
Yeah. Susan, what are your thoughts from the conversations you've been listening?
Yes, especially your conversations with the last two senior politicians, and especially in the contested provinces, the Free State and the Northwest, two heavily contested provinces. What I pick up, also talking to delegates, is that people come with good ideas after they have been elected. It's a bit like the slate argument as well. Product of the good slate, and now we say slates are wrong. Yeah, the people are products of heavy campaigns and say we mustn't be campaigning like that. And Northwest, we do reconciliation. We've got a document like the one you received that says we are reconciling, we are engaging, we are talking. And the other side is saying, fine, now you want to talk after you have outmaneuvered. They concede being outmaneuvered in various, of course, in ANC robust campaigns, and now you come and talk. So I am just afraid for the ANC that these initiatives are not having enough gravitas, traction in the minds of the opposing factions in the provinces.
Agree, Lisiba?
I do. I certainly do. You know, all I'm calling for is that let there be programs of action, which thing was raised even after 2007. That would certainly ensure that people begin to recognize that they are members of one big family, and contestation should not translate into enmity, and the vanquished should quickly be brought on board. But if you let them to linger out there and you attempt to purge, rest you assured they will go back into the trenches and they will regroup and then ensure that you don't perform, you don't deliver, and act effectively as an opposition party within a ruling party.
We'll talk about political education and the emphasis on political education. Everybody we've talked to has said political education. There's even a curriculum committee and so on. Let's pick up on something that was said by President Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma. He was talking here, addressing himself to the delegates. Let's take a look.
Some branches contain members who belong to other members. Other alien tendencies to be eliminated from the movement as part of renewal is the negative lobbying for positions which includes smear campaigns in the media as well as gossip and rumor mongering about one another. Also common are the disrespectful public spats as well as hurling insults at other comrades or members of the public, thereby bringing the ANC into disrepute. More seriously, we have experienced the shocking occurrences where armed comrades disrupt ANC meetings. This then raises the question, what exactly could be so much at stake that people would go so far to get their own way in the organization?
All right, so that's President Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma addressing the delegates there. So, political education, how important is it? Because by the look of things, from what is being said, it's going to be, the ANC is going to be very strong on political education and also on the issue of discipline. Lisiba?
A very good idea. If that can assist people to understand and to appreciate what the organization stands for, I'm all for it. But what I don't hear people acknowledge is that the drive for more members, as Zwelinzima Vavi said, made it vulnerable to wrong people also to come on board. Are they going to use very strict criteria to ensure that whoever comes
You
in
know, I'm
is
wondering
considered?
about these other people, and that's why I was asking Supra about just the delegates and the people who are within the ANC. Don't they know the history of the ANC? I mean, do you need effectively a school to educate people about the history of the ANC and the history of South Africa?
Political education is not going to turn back the clock of change culture, change historical conditions. ANC really depends on bringing history back into the present. They really hope to be doing that in the centenary year. And he said we had this very robust campaign. And so many people are saying, why don't the political leaders themselves first go to political school rather than trying to put us through political school? They are leading by a certain kind of example, and people are following that. So there needs to be much more credibility, leadership buy-in, leading both by example and by showing how that history matters in current life. And that is not coming through very strongly in a top-down message so far.
So, Mangaung is 400 k's from Joburg. It's about 400 k's from East London, the Eastern Cape. If you go further to Limpopo, that's about another 300 k's or 700 k's there. So the delegates have got a long way to travel from here. As they leave, what kind of ANC are they leaving with? Are they leaving with the same kind of ANC that they left with from Polokwane? Are they leaving with a stronger ANC? Are they leaving with a weaker ANC? Lisiba, what's your sense?
There are two ANCs here. One is the one that they...
No, it's united.
No, there are two ANC. It's the one they come up with, and there is one in potency, the one that has the potential to be united, to grow and develop. All it needs are men and women of integrity to help at least heal the wounds and bring the parties together and give a rebirth, a renewal.
Now you've got the integrity committee, so that's well underway.
Well, you have the integrity committee, but it would need men and women of integrity to preside over it. Equally, it would need men and women of integrity to mediate the curriculum, so said.
Okay, Susan, what kind of ANC are the delegates leaving with from here?
I think generally many of the delegates are very confused as to what they're taking from this conference. It is indeed the dominant ANC that was very well represented here. Most of the delegates were virtually hand-selected to come to this conference and endorse a certain candidacy. But the candidates leave...
No, but this is the democracy of the ANC. Susan, you've been here for a few days.
Yes, I apparently have not been listening very well to all the official voices.
Okay, so you're saying it's not a stronger ANC?
It is not a stronger ANC.
You agree with that, Lisiba?
Undoubtedly, because it is more fractured. Remember Mukulwa, the president, Ndate Motlanthe. Behind him there are a number of souls, hurt, wounded. How are you going to bring them on board?
But I mean, reflect back to Polokwane. After Polokwane, there was a breakaway, there was the Congress of the People and so on. Now, in the presentation, organizational report by the Secretary General, 1.2 million members of the ANC, paid up people, KZN, 900 branches or 900 voting delegates here. So this is an ANC that seems, if you look at the numbers, this is an ANC that seems to be climbing and climbing.
But the numbers bring an incredible vulnerability too, because immediately you have to look at political education to make sure they know what kind of party they are subscribing to. It's a general party political thing. Democratic alliances have the same problem. Here it is a massive problem. And they're even talking about 2.5 million members in a few years from now. And now they're talking about putting all of their 1.2 million members through political education. That is an immense task.
Are those numbers audited?
Well, for now, yes, they are audited.
The 1.2 million.
Yeah, the
audited internally, or is there an external?
They are audited internally, hence the controversies around them. That's one. But one of the most interesting things about this growth, Vuyo, why is it that it was phenomenal only in one province, namely KwaZulu-Natal? It's of interest. Those who are doing research, maybe they should revisit that and come and tell us why.
Okay.
Other provinces have had increases, yes, but KwaZulu-Natal's indeed was outstanding, and especially the last sprint to the finishing line between mid-year to September, when other provinces started resting on their laurels, saying, we have had great increases, we've done our bit, and then KwaZulu-Natal came with an additional jump, and that has been an important part, outmaneuvering, also why we see the kind of conference we now see now. 900 delegates is a large number.
Big. We need to conclude our conversation now. There's a point that you made that I thought was interesting. You were talking about T-shirts. What T-shirts have you observed at this conference? Have they been prominent? What T-shirts have you seen?
Yes, there's the cultures and the factions. Zuma are absolutely proud in their Zuma T-shirts. If this person Zuma, there's a Zuma face on it. However, the other side is much more subdued. You do not see Motlanthe T-shirt. You did not. Neither Sikwale, neither any other candidate on the Forces for Change side. They were more subdued in the Oliver Tambo shirts, occasionally neutral.
Did you see Motlanthe T-shirt?
No, he unequivocally said he didn't want that. And
No Tokyo Sekhwale T-shirt?
No, neither. In fact, for the Forces of Change, I didn't say anything. But there was one that I found extremely interesting. Is the one that said, "Let us not divide the party. Let us unite it. Unite the party." It was just no picture, no nothing, in front and at the back. I thought that was a good message.
But interesting, overwhelmingly, the unity message was the slogan of the Zumas camp. And unity, it really didn't mean unity. It meant unity of the faction, unity as a slogan to win the conference.
Okay. Let's leave it at that. Okay, so here on Morning Live tomorrow, the 6 newly elected top officials of the ANC: President Zuma, Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, Secretary General Gwede Mantashe, the Chairperson Baleka Mbete, Deputy Secretary General Jesse Duarte, and Zweli Mkhize, who's the Treasurer General. It's a long broadcast. Starts at 7 o'clock, continues until 10. We invite you to join us for that particular broadcast tomorrow. So as we conclude, I'm going to walk away.